everyone. This is Stephanie Mann at the Safe Kids Now show. And I am so pleased today to have a lady by the name of Stacy Mayone. And Stacy tells me she's just a regular person out there in the community. And by golly, she started an organization called Agape Rescues Children. We need more Stacys in the world because we've got a lot of problems with kids today. And Stacy has been doing this for a number of, well, we'll find out. Okay, Stacy, come in and we'll talk about how you got started and what you're doing today and all about Agape Rescues Children. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you so much for having me on, and I appreciate it so much. I just love any opportunity that I have to talk about Agape Rescues Children because,
Well,
like
we
you
appreciate
said,
you. We appreciate you.
thank
Go
you.
ahead. Tell us
Like
about
you
it.
said, there's a lot of lots of kids that need help, and the number is growing every day. So I appreciate it so much.
Good. Well, tell us about your organization called Agape Rescues Children.
Agape Rescues Children is agape means love, unconditional love in Greek. So I truly, truly, from the bottom of my heart, believe that love it will rescue children. And so Agape Rescues Children is threefold, really. It's education. We like to educate the community about how trafficking happens, the signs to look for, how kidnapping is happening underneath our noses every day. And kidnapping leads into trafficking. And it's just really a reoccurring awful cycle that these kids get caught in. So as long as we can educate the community and keep people to get their eyes out on our children in the community and to save a child, that's perfect. So it's education, prevention. We believe that preventing kidnapping, I've created ways to combat kidnapping through apps on our phone, where if you see kidnapping happening in front of your eyes, you can immediately respond on this app, and you will get immediate eyes on that child. And it's quicker than an Amber Alert. We can get response within 30 seconds, and you can get eyes on that child until we can get in touch with Metro or your police department and get this kidnapper caught, save the child, and break the trafficking chain.
Stacy,
My
I
third
understand.
part, excuse me, sorry.
No, I just had a question about how many children are involved in child sex trafficking. How many kids are we talking about?
Oh my gosh. Well, there's over 800,000 children that go missing every year. And it's just in our country alone. And that number is increasing. So, 800,000 a year just that poof go missing, which I think is almost impossible for children to just go missing now. There are cameras everywhere. There are Ring doorbells. You're watching the streets, you're watching shopping centers. How are our children just disappearing? And it happens a lot. And
Right.
so our third part, I'll go back to talking about Agape. The third part and the most important part is the aftercare. And we create aftercare and places for the children to go. If they can't go back to their homes, or we can't put them in CPS or anything like that because a lot of trafficking happens through CPS.
Mhm.
So we need to create safe homes and centers for them to learn how to get empowered again, and live a normal, nice, healthy life. Because coming out of that, the reason I started this is because I was watching the news and I'd be sitting there going, okay, they've rescued these children. Where are they going to go? CPS. And then I find out 86% of the children trafficked in the country come from CPS.
It's crazy.
They can't go to CPS. There's so much money. It's all about the money, and it's all about the children.
Absolutely. This is such a huge problem. And I
Mm-hmm.
also understand that a lot of these kids are in schools. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the kids that are trafficked, now that's hard to believe because you'd think that if a child is in school, somebody's going to notice something's wrong here. But what's going on that these kids are being sent back to school? Are they coming out of the families themselves, or uh, are the pimps sending them into school? What's going
Mm-hmm.
on?
There's so many different. The further I get involved in Agape, the more I realize that every state has their own problems. Um, and the trafficking in schools, yeah, it happens at every school. I mean, it doesn't matter where you send your kids. If they're on social media, if they're on the computer, trafficking can happen while kids are in school. And that goes back to the education part. I want to go into schools and teach teachers what to look for. Teach the other kids to look out for their friends, and go home and say, "Hey mom, I noticed that Sally has on red nail polish and it kind of looks like a little, that's a red flag. Let's keep an eye on Sally."
Yeah.
Because these people start grooming these children through internet, through the computer, through our phones. It's called grooming. And they groom these children and say, "Hey, you look pretty today," or they give the children something that they're missing. And then the next thing you know, they go meet these men that pose to be boys, maybe. And the next thing you know, they're being groomed and they get sold into trafficking.
This is called brainwashing.
It's grooming, brainwashing, actually. Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
it
So,
is.
okay. Now, how many people have you been able to help? How many girls or
So,
boys?
I know now through certain signals that we've taught, hand signals and things. I know for a fact that there have been a few children on the East Coast that have been saved and taken out of trafficking, and some people down in Texas are getting some kids and saving children. So I know that what we're doing is making an impact, and it's changing. It's going to start changing the country.
Good. Well, now,
Yeah.
I know that Agape is a national organization, is it not?
Well, Agape Rescues Children is not national yet. Yet. It
Okay,
will
I
be.
like
It's
your
going to be a
thinking.
national. Yeah, because I mean, the child trafficking is worldwide. We're going to be an international organization pretty soon. So,
Wow.
I mean, it's well on its way to being a national organization.
I've heard.
There's Agape Ministries that is national at this point that I
Okay.
know about, but Agape Rescues Children is we're Las Vegas based, and you know we're
Well,
starting our
you
organization
have
there.
people working with you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. This is
Ho-
such a huge project. Here I have a couple of friends that have jumped on board that help me here in Las Vegas. And we work with an organization called Vets for Child Rescue. They're a
Mhm.
group of retired veterans, and they're Navy SEALs. And they're the ones that really get down and dirty and go into tunnels and get children out of different trafficking situations. And then my sister organization that we work very, very closely with is on the East Coast, and they are called Rescue Children Now. And actually, she's over in Europe, working in Europe right now on Rescue Children Now. So it's going to be international very soon.
Well, what are you doing to take care of the needs in different areas then? What does that mean?
So here in Las Vegas, what I'm realizing as I go along is that Metro, when they go and arrest a trafficker or a pimp, um, and they get the victim, the child victim, they have to arrest the victim as well and separate the victim from the trafficker. And the only place that they can take these young kids now is to juvenile detention, because that's a safe lockdown facility, which I understand. But we don't need to be arresting the victims and sending them to jail. I just,
Yeah.
there's no way to end the cycle if we do that. And a lot of times they take them to Child Haven here in Las Vegas, the cops that get the victims take them to Child Haven, but Child Haven's not locked down. So these young girls or young boys, lots of young boys, go in and automatically walk out the back door right into the trafficker's car because they don't know any different.
Yeah.
So I want to create, which I am creating, is we call them safe drop homes for the police to bring the children to us, where they're safe homes. We are working with veterans so we can give veterans jobs as well, helping the community. I mean, it's better than, going and bagging groceries at Walmart or something. Let's give them, they fought for our country, so let's give them a way to help our communities. So I want to create these homes where the children can come, where it's locked down and safe, and they have a nice, comfortable bed to sleep, because they need sleep for the first few days after they get rescued. And
Now-
then after that, I create healing centers where they will grow after these safe homes. They'll go to a healing center, empower themselves again, get healthy again, and start living a new life.
Are you familiar with some of the other organizations that are working on child sex trafficking here in Las Vegas?
I am. Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
And I'm so excited about all of it.
Yeah. And how are they connecting with each other to help each other or support each other? How does that work?
I have been working with a few survivors, and they have just been jumping around from organization to organization, just helping out as much as possible. And really, it's, like, for example, Cupcake Girls that go in and talk to the girls of trafficking and talk to the girls of prostitution. And so we get survivors from all these different organizations that come and be the voices for our organization.
That's great.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
One of the, I've been involved in child sex trafficking here in Las Vegas myself. And I'm wondering if you've seen the movie, or it's not a movie, it's well, maybe it is. It's called Groomed. It's on YouTube. And I would highly recommend anybody that's listening, or for you or anyone, to watch it. It was made by a young man. I think he was 19 at the time. And he uses a real mother and daughter. And they enact what happened to one of the kids. Yeah. And so she was a victim of this. And I think everybody would find, I think it's 18 minutes long.
Yeah.
So I think anybody would find this extremely informative, because he goes through the steps of the grooming process, which is really shocking when you think about it. And when you think about how easy it is for people to or young people to get involved, because it's not just girls, it's also boys.
Lots of boys.
Do you happen to know the percentage of girls versus boys?
No, I don't, but on a larger scale, not so much here in Las Vegas, but on a larger scale, I would say that the little boys is really high in certain countries. And I think, and also, this is another area that we haven't talked about that I'm trying to touch on, is internet crimes against children, ICAC. And the internet crimes, the child pornography that's a lot of little boys. It's so yucky. It's so yucky.
Well, and
it breaks my heart.
We have a problem with the over-sexualization, period, in this country. I mean, look at what schools are beginning to teach finally parents are waking up and saying, no, 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 no. This, you're not teaching porn to my children in elementary school.
Yeah.
That is something that most of us would never have thought of.
Never even dream of it. Never even.
No, it's shocking. It's beyond shocking.
It is beyond
And then
shocking.
these transgender movements. You can't imagine a child, underage child, as young as 9 or 10, saying, I want to be a boy. And you can have a transgender operation. What? This is crazy. So we have
normalize. It's trying to normalize all this sickness. It's
Yes,
just
it is.
normalizing everything to these kids, so they're going to grow up thinking that it's normal. It's just normalizing.
Well, and that's
it all.
exactly why you are so important to this,
Yeah.
Stacy, because we need more Stacys out there. We need more
Thank
people
you.
involved in this whole process. So how can people help you?
So, on my website, of course, we have a donation button, and I'm always looking for donations, and I've gotten some incredibly generous, such great donations, because I mean, this child trafficking thing is so big, and so I've gotten some really great donations, and I'm always looking for land. I'm looking for land all over the country. I have a land in Colorado right now, and some in Texas, and we're looking for, buildings, and really just we need land. I need drop houses for these children so we can break the cycle of trafficking in Las Vegas.
Okay, well, we're going to take a little break, and we will be back and find out more about finding land so that Stacy can extend her mission. So we'll be right back.
Throw and Tuck. It's handmade by myself, and you only can get it here, and it's patent, and it's only here at Rococo Design. It's like a regular pillow, or you can take the blanket out like so, fluff up the pillow, open up your blanket, wrap it around yourself, and then you can lay on your sofa and relax with your pillow, throw and tuck. When you're done with it, just flip it over. When you don't want the blanket anymore, you just fold it over twice. Fold it over twice again. Fold it over. And tuck it in the back. And there you go. You're back to the pillow, throw, and tuck. Rococo Design.
Hi there, we're back, and I'm talking to Stacy Mayone, and she is the founder of Agape Rescues Children. And we are so pleased to have her today because she is, I can tell, motivated and an inspiration to all of us about what we can do to rescue our children. She just started out and said, I'm going to make some changes here. That's what she's doing.
Yeah,
So
that's what we're
thank you
doing.
so much for being with us, Stacy. It's so good to see you.
Thank you.
And
Well,
you
I
know,
just
tell us a little
appreciate
more
you.
about the land and what you need and all those good things.
So so what, I told you about the safe drop houses for the children to be rescued from. If they're rescued from the police and the traffickers taken to jail, they can bring the children to the drop houses and let them sleep. And then after that, I have visions to create a healing center. And the healing center is based on my healing business, which is called Ameliorate Your Life. And ameliorate means to enhance, to improve, or to make better. So, ameliorate, I've been doing for about 7 years, and it's really just holistic spiritual practices that empower your soul and make you just become the best version of you.
I
So,
love that. That sounds great.
so it's through yoga, it's through eating right, it's through gardening, connecting with nature, learning how to breathe correctly. Because so many people breathe from here up and we live in fight or flight. So if we learn how to breathe correctly and do yoga and practice just peace, we could get a lot healthier and a lot calmer. And so the healing centers are based on my healing practices that are under on my Ameliorate website, which is aylnow.com. But it's just the like I said, it's the holistic spiritual practices to empower a body, empower a person, empower a soul to be the best version of them. And that's what we're going to do for the children. And then they can go off and flourish and, live amazing lives.
I love that. Well, you and I have a similar bent on that one because I wrote Empowerment Parenting for the same reason. That's this little book.
Yes.
How to raise resilient children who become happy, self-reliant adults. And, the combination of people getting involved with their kids, talking to their children, and making them aware that we have a huge problem here. And unless you talk to your kids, at what age do you suggest we talk to the children?
Oh my gosh. I mean, start talking to them as soon as they walk at 3 years old. If you don't teach your kids to listen to their bodies. Their gut knows, especially when they're young. Before this takes over, their heart and their gut knows.
Absolutely.
If Uncle Tom, the kids aren't so comfortable with Uncle Tom. Well, why are the kids comfortable with Uncle Tom? Well, look at Uncle Tom's past. Maybe he did something to a child in the past. I went through some advocacy training with Metro. I do a lot of training with Metro, and just because I think education is the best way for me to come out and talk about what I want to do.
Mhm.
So, I did this advocacy training and they said, talk to your children. I mean, straight out of the gate, teach them how to listen to themselves. They know. And the thing is, a lot of parents brush them off and say, oh no, Uncle Tommy's fine. Well, maybe your child is not comfortable with Uncle Tommy. So,
well, I had that experience myself when I was little. A man picked me up and I screamed my little head off. I was about 4 or 5 and he put me down in a hurry. I don't know why I felt so uncomfortable with him because I didn't do that with anybody else. But he just alerted me to something. And I just made a big noise about it. And, my grandmother said to me, if you don't feel safe, you just run, scream, hit, fight, whatever you have to do to get away from that individual. So
I like your grandma.
I remember that.
Yeah. And it's so true. It's so true for our children, for parents that care about our children and really want to be good parents. Now, Agape Rescues Children is not always, that's not always the case where you have the children and you have the parents that care about them. So if, let us be the open hearts where they come and we can teach them. But for families that are raising kids in this world right now, just listen to them. Just listen to your children and take them seriously. Don't brush them off.
You know, the kids I'm really concerned about are the kids that are in abusive households, because they're the ones that get on the internet, feel alone and isolated,
Yeah.
and there's nobody there except maybe that friendly voice in the tube. And that's what pulls them in really quickly. So that is another reason why we need community surrounding our children, meaning
100%.
neighborhoods should be supported and much closer.
Yeah.
And if we don't have a community around a child and they're in an abusive relationship, I mean, it's not hard to see why a child would turn to a stranger on the computer or the phone. So look around, see if your kids in the neighborhood, you know, befriend them, especially women. Women are really good at doing that.
Yeah.
And create a safe neighborhood around kids, because that's one of the things that's missing in this society. And since the COVID, isolation took place, we've got a lot more isolation than we had before COVID hit us. What do you think?
I think there's a many different reasons for COVID.
Yeah. You're a skeptic a bit like me.
I think it's all about the children. I really, truly, this is really interesting because I had a feeling in March when I was watching Steve Sisolak on the TV, and I was like, this has nothing to do with a bat bringing in a virus. They thought it was from a bat. I was like, this has to do with our children. This has nothing to do with the virus, with the bat that brings in a virus. So I thought, I mean, from day one, I knew it was about the kids. And then I was doing an interview with George Knapp. He was an investigative journalist. And he said, Stacy, it's so funny that you say that, because we were a week away from releasing a huge story about child trafficking, and COVID hits, knocks everything down.
Really? Well,
it's all about the children.
Did
all
they
about
remember?
The money.
Did they ever release that story about the children? They didn't?
Nope.
Oh my goodness.
He's helping me so much with Agape Rescues Children at this point. He's helped me a lot now.
That's great.
But yeah, they shut that down real quick.
Okay. Well, you can see, everyone, that we have a real problem. Your kids are in trouble. Our kids are in trouble because we haven't been there all the time for them. We now have, in case you haven't heard this statistic, we spend $220 million a day on child abuse and neglect. That means we have a huge problem on neglected kids and abused children. And if we don't get a handle on it, we're going to have a generation that can't function. We're going to have a generation that's in real trouble. And it's going to be people like Stacy that turn this around or help us turn it around. So that's what needs to take place. Do you have any final word for us, Stacy?
You know, and I truly believe COVID was all about the children. It's all about putting them in isolation, making them have mental problems, mental health issues. I've known a couple of kids that have tried to commit suicide since COVID.
I have too.
I truly believe it was all about affecting our children in one way or the other, whether it's from trafficking, whether it's from kids being isolated.
How about the drugs that are coming over the border? It's 100,000.
Started on that.
Oh my goodness. Okay, everybody, we have to get you guys involved. And Stacy and I agree. It's not going to change by itself, or if you're waiting for the politicians to do it, forget it. It's going to be about we, the people, getting involved to make sure that our children are safe.
Yeah.
So
we, the people, have to do it. We cannot rely on those politicians.
No, forget it.
Even why, I mean, you know, and I jumped on the Trump train back in 2016, and I learned so much about human trafficking, and I realized that was the biggest problem, and it was because of someone that was not a politician that came in and brought it to our attention. And now
Well,
we have Agape Rescues Children because he was not a politician, and he brought everybody's attention to human trafficking.
well, I am so grateful for you, Stacy, for you sharing your story, telling us that you just got motivated to get involved and you did it.
Yeah.
So many people talk about it, but they don't actually do it. Yeah. So thank you so much for being with us today. I just
thank you.
Enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you so much. We need to change the world. And so we're
going to do it.
We are.
We're going to do it. Okay.
We truly are.
All right. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks so much, Stephanie.
Okay. That is so refreshing to me because we have so many people, as I said, that say, oh, we need to do this, that, and the other thing. Well, Stacy Mayone actually got out and did something. Hey, we all can do something. So I'm so pleased to have her today. So, anyway, next week we have another lady. I think you've all heard about autism. We have way too much autism in this country, and I'm not sure what that's all about, but we have a mother that's going to be with us named Christina Fairchild. She has 2 autistic children, and she's going to talk to us. She wants to share her message with you. So join us next week, and we will look forward to seeing you. Peace and love.
You're listening to All About Us Radio. We're live streaming 24/7, playing old school versus new school. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at AAU Media, and visit our website, www.aaumedia.com. Call us at 1-833-369-1444, extension 1, and leave us an inspirational message or request. You're listening to All About Us Radio.